Hi everyone, I'm Barr, your Feng Shui and dowsing consultant from West Palm Beach, Florida. And today I'm filming inside because I want to talk to you about the Feng Shui of Senator Edward Kennedy. He happened to pass away last night, and his Feng Shui is really telling. I don't want to just focus on his death, but actually some events that happened during his life and how Feng Shui played a part in that. And I thought it would interest you because Feng Shui has so many aspects to it. It's not just about how you set up your environment, although that's a really important part of it. There's another piece of Feng Shui that has to do with timing and events that happen in your life, and they affect you based upon your 4 personal Feng Shui directions. So that type of Feng Shui is based upon your birthday. And then the Feng Shui associated with timing is called Flying Star Feng Shui. And when you put the picture together, your 4 best directions based on your birthday, as well as the Feng Shui Flying Stars, it creates a picture for you. And it can tell you when timing is good for situations and when it's better to lay low. And of course, Feng Shui is just one piece of the overall picture. You have to use common sense, you have to use information that you have to use your judgment, but Feng Shui accounts for about 33% of your overall luck. So it's a really important piece that you want to consider when you're thinking about timing events in your life. So let's look at Senator Ted Kennedy's Feng Shui and see how things played out in his particular life. I think we all know that the Kennedys were not only an American icon, certainly in politics, but also they had a history of having that black cloud over their family, so many different tragedies, especially with Ted and his brothers and sisters. That seems to be the area where the most tragedy existed. And one of the first things that happened in Ted Kennedy's life was he was in a plane He was in a plane accident back in 1964. He was a passenger on a plane, and the plane fell out of the sky. They don't know what caused the crash, and he almost died. In fact, he barely had a pulse when he was found. And obviously he lived, he survived, but he spent several months in the hospital and had chronic back pain the entire rest of his life. Well, at the time of the airplane accident, he had 2 stars that were actually working against him, 2 Feng Shui stars. The first one was a combination of the yearly and monthly flying stars that were perfectly suited to having an automobile or an airplane accident. In addition to that, he had another star combination on his wisdom direction, meaning decisions that he would make could possibly lead to injuries with metal objects. Well, of course, an airplane is a big metal object, so his decision to take that flight that evening ended up resulting in the accident that affected his health the rest of his life. So both his wisdom direction and his health direction, the flying stars on those directions, affected him profoundly at that point in time. Then looking forward to 1969, the incident at Chappaquiddick, he was driving a car that went off a bridge. How it went off the bridge, nobody really knows, but the passenger in his car was Mary Jo Kochekny. I'm not sure if I'm even saying that right. And when the car went into the water, he managed to get out, but he left Mary Jo there and didn't report the accident for 9 hours, and she died in the car. And that ended up hurting his chances of becoming president of the United States because of the scandal surrounding that particular situation. Well, back at the time of that accident, which was July 1969, he had a couple of stars that were working against him. The first one was on his wisdom direction. The star combination that he had was all about affairs. So the decision that he chose to make at that time probably was that he was having an affair with Mary Jo. It's very likely. I don't know if that's ever come out or if he ever said anything related to that, but I do know that his marriage broke up as a result of that incident. So it's very likely he was having an affair with her at that time, and his decision was affected by these flying stars. In addition to that, on his relationship direction that month, the star combination was all about disaster and bad luck. So that means bad luck and disasters in your relationships. And not only did this woman, Mary Jo, die, but it resulted in the end of his relationship with his wife. So it affected him twofold in two different ways. And then also, because this accident took place in Massachusetts, at the time, the stars sitting on Massachusetts created what was called a double metal clash. And that too can create injuries with metal objects, and a car is a big metal object. So again, the Feng Shui played a role in this particular tragedy at Chappaquiddick. Now, looking at the next situation, which was his wedding, he married a wonderful woman that he was still married to at the time of his death, named Vicky. And her family had been a friend of the Kennedy family for many, many years. And in 1992, they decided that they were going to get married. Well, at the time of his wedding even, the month that he chose was the star combination for weddings and marriage and happiness when it came to relationships. So again, this star combination on his relationships was perfect timing for his wedding to his wife, Vicky. And in fact, the combination was good for long-term marriage, and they were married until he died. Then back in May 2008, when he was diagnosed with the brain tumor, he actually had some Feng Shui stars that were not positive for his health at that time. In fact, the star combination on his health at that time was all about internal injuries. And even though it wasn't something that was an injury that was caused, by an accident that he had, certainly brain cancer is an internal injury, and it cost him his life. In fact, they weren't expecting Ted Kennedy to live as long as he did. So it's amazing that he not only made it through the surgery, but also ended up surviving well beyond the few weeks or couple months that the diagnosis was made that he would live. So he lived quite a bit beyond that. And then in addition to that, the stars that regulate the area of the body that's associated with the head at that time were associated with mental stress. So it's very likely that this caused a lot of stress in his life. So again, these Feng Shui stars help to paint a picture about what opportunities and challenges lie ahead for you. So if you're interested in knowing more about your Feng Shui directions as well as your flying stars, you can always visit my website. I have a website called Feng Shui Fortune Cookie, and it's FENGSHUI, and then Fortune Cookie, you know how to spell fortunecookie.com, and I can tell you what your Feng Shui outlook is based upon your flying stars so that you can make decisions that make sense to you, but also work with the timing of the flying stars so that when the good flying stars are there, they support you in your decisions, and when the flying stars are more challenging, you can hold off and wait until a better time to have your activity, get married, start a new business, launch a new product, move to a new house, whatever it happens to be for you. But in addition to that, I also tell you what Feng Shui remedies you can use to mitigate the energy of the negative flying stars, in addition to telling you how the positive flying stars can be activated with Feng Shui. That's the beauty of Feng Shui. So I hope you found that interesting about Ted Kennedy and the flying stars on his life and how it impacted specific events in his life. And I will see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and feel free to rate this video. Thanks. Bye.